Send Ulfric my regards.
Nothing!
tonight in this live stream, we're going to cover the circles of character conflict, specifically as they apply to Sagramor. If you don't know what the circles of character conflict are, there's quite a bit of information on our website about it, and there's also a diagram of it contained in the build document. So if you're interested, we have a Character Crusade podcast. I can't tell you which episode it is, but it's one of the early episodes, probably in the first 10, where we cover this concept of the circles of character conflict. And what it is a tool that is designed to help you outline the personality of a character from the perspective of how they relate to other people. Okay? So, it's like 3 concentric circles, and what it does is it helps you think about some more interesting things, like how does Sagramor relate to himself? How does Sagramor relate to the people who are in his inner circle? So there's personal, there's interpersonal. These are the people who are his friends and family. How does he relate to them? And then there's, another assassin. Then there's something we call intrapersonal or social. Come. I am laden with gear, but it doesn't matter. Horse, don't you walk away from me. I need you. Desperately. Another assassin. So we're going to be covering that. If you're interested in learning more about it, there is an article on the website. So if you went to charactercrusade.com and just search for circles, we had a little search box on the homepage. You'll find the article about it that contains diagrams and an explanation of how it works. Or you can listen to the podcast, which is a discussion of it, and we get some practice applying it. Or you can also find the diagram is built right into the build document for the Mortal Blade. You can look at it there too. But we're going to be covering each of those circles for Sagramor. And I'm going to be, reading right from the build document. But the information contained in there, I think, is really critical to understanding how this man relates to the people around him, and that gives us some really interesting insights into his personality and his way of thinking, and a lot of different things. So we're going to do that at some point, but we're not going to worry about that until we get back to Windhelm and we've got a little bit of downtime when I can kind of switch screens here and read. So we'll do that shortly. All right, this is kind of shortcut here. I don't want to get too far this direction. This is an interesting little stretch here because I never have issues navigating it when, I'm headed the other direction. If I'm going west, no problem. But if I'm going east, I always take wrong turns and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. So, what I was talking about earlier, some of the twists and turns the story has taken, it's kind of interesting because some of those things were, one of those was an unexpected event. I did not realize that we had committed crimes that rose to the level of being jailed. And I did not realize that. I had no idea. Now, maybe I should have known, but I'm thinking back on it, and I can't think of anything that Sagramor did that would have been such a major infraction that they would have slapped me in jail without an option for buying my way out of it or anything like that. And they also did not give me the option of pulling the Thane card, using the Thane card and getting out of trouble. They didn't even give me that option either. So I figured, given the severity of it, I would have remembered. I would have remembered what the hell happened, But I didn't. So to me, that was a little bit crazy. Hey, thanks, Gail. Yeah, if you want to check it out, Character Crusade Episode 8. That's the Circles of Character Conflict, and that is the model that we're going to be going over later to talk a little bit about Sagramor's relationships with other people. So check there in the chat. Gail's been kind enough to let us know which episode that is. You can listen to that on iTunes. You can listen to it on Stitcher. You can go straight to the website and listen to it right through the website. And I believe it's also produced as a video on YouTube. There's nothing to look at. There's just a thumbnail image, but you can listen to the audio that way too if you want. Are we being pursued? Thought I heard something. Okay. Interesting. So what I was talking about before was how the game throws twists and turns at us. One of those twists was the unexpected arrest. That really threw me. I didn't see that coming at all. I was just cutting through Rorikstad on my way to Fort Sungard, and bam, they arrested him, right? The experience that we had in the escape with the companions, that was interesting as well, because that was actually a conflict between a mod that I was using and one of the vanilla quest lines. So with that one, I'm using Sewers of Skyrim, and I used Sewers of Skyrim to actually escape from prison in Dragon's Reach. And I encountered Aella down underground on patrol, and I actually just followed her. I followed her, and she led me straight to the door. She led me straight to the door that leads to kind of the basement area of Jorvaskr. And so I interpreted that as Aella recognizing Sagramor, sympathizing with his plight, and giving him the benefit of the doubt, essentially, and helping guide him out of that dungeon. So, and then once we did get to Jorvaskr, because I had never been to Jorvaskr before, I had not kicked off the Companion's Quest, because the Companion's Quest is kicked off when you enter Jorvaskr. Because I had never entered Jorvaskr through the main doors, I came in through this tunnel entrance that was created by this mod. I essentially came into that quest kind of through a back door. So when I attempted to go outside, when I attempted to follow Vilkis outside to do the sword practice thing, the doors were locked and I couldn't get outside, which was basically, it was like being locked in. So I took that little mod conflict and turned it into a situation where the companions were divided. Aella and Kodlak like Sagramor, and they wanted to help him. And Vilkis and Skior were nervous about helping a fugitive, and they didn't want to do it because they felt like it might risk the companion's reputation or get them in trouble with the local government. So the way I played that off is that Vilkis and Skior locked the doors and were going to hold him inside until the Whiterun Guard came. And so I went back down and spoke to Kodlak, and he just kind of looked at me and turned his head, and I interpreted that as he was prepared to look the other way, like, hey, if the guards come, I got to turn you in, but if you were to leave the same way you came, I wouldn't say anything. So that's kind of how I interpreted that whole thing as well. And it actually worked out really cool, because now we sort of have this situation where we know that we have allies inside the companions, people who recognize Sagramor because of his participation in the invasion of Whiterun. And so they have some kind of budding respect for him, but we also understand that he has some enemies within the companions. So that makes that whole thing much more interesting once we get to it. It also gives him some incentive to go and, visit the companions at some time. He knows he has friends there now. So it's interesting. You can interpret these things any way you want to, but I tend to do it in ways that help me to suck my character into quest lines that they might not otherwise touch, Okay, now, here's the other thing. In the last few episodes, we have witnessed Sagramor's growing discontent and mistrust of Ulfric. At the beginning, he was very much, yes, sir, no, sir, I'll do whatever I'm asked, sir, right? But now as he's starting to hear stories about things that Ulfric has done, things that Ulfric has done in the Reach, things that Ulfric has done here in Whiterun, we're hearing more about this kind of xenophobic side of him. Sagramor is very, very concerned with justice. And he sees some of these things as being unjust.
Will you spare a few coins to help someone who's got nothing?
And so he's starting to question. He's starting to question his not his loyalty to Ulfric or his loyalty to the cause, but he's starting to question whether or not he respects the man. And that's important. So how do we do something as simple as express discontent when the game doesn't allow us to? Well, we do it by doing this. Not smelting. But whereas we would have come here in the past, and the very first thing that we would have done would be to go and talk to Ulfric Stormcloak and let him know what happened. Right? Now going to see Ulfric Stormcloak is secondary to us doing our smelting, is secondary to us going to the Shrine of Talos, where in what this says to me is this is kind of an expression of Sagramor's mistrust, or I guess I think it's him questioning his respect for the man, I guess. I wouldn't go so far as to call it disrespecting, because he can't substantiate necessarily that these things are true, but he's hearing these anecdotal kind of things from a lot of different people. So when I'm role-playing, one of the ways that I express things like this, a simple bit of discontent, is to do things in a different order, right? So it's kind of like him saying, yeah, whatever, Ulfric can wait. I'm busy. Tell him I'll be right there. That kind of thing. Whereas before, he would have snapped to attention and run in there very first thing, talk to Ulfric, and then went about his business. That kind of thing. So, food for thought. That's just how I do it. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference to me when I'm playing, so... No. Okay, we're going to keep some arrows. Iron, we're going to keep that. We've got this iron dagger. That can be an ingot. I'm okay if that's an ingot. All right. So, we got a level. Ba-bam. Okay, so I got to invest in health twice this time, because we double invested in stamina before. I'm supposed to be alternating, but now notice we're at level 15, which means what? It's bonus perk time. Ooh, I love bonus perk time. Every 5 levels we get a bonus perk. And this is a mod from Anai Scion. So let's see what our options are. Last time around, we invested in Defiance. Rallying Standard. Okay. Once a day, place a banner that grants 100 armor rating and 25% melee damage to allies within 15 feet wearing all heavy armor, including you, and prevents them from fleeing. Lasts for 1 minute. Okay, here's the thing. That one is not super useful, in my view, but it's super cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so cool. I've used it once with another character, and it's so cool because he literally, boom, plants a standard in the ground, and then there's some sound effects and all this kind of stuff, and it's really kind of epic, and it's really tempting to do something like that, you know, and use it in the context of, you know, some of these battles that we're having, which I think would be pretty amazing. Okay. What do we do? We've got more swordsmanship that we can invest in. So Clash of Champions, we got 3 levels in this that we can work on. Attack with a sword with swords reduces the target's attack damage by 10% for 3 seconds. But then over here we've got some other stuff. Rogue's Parry. When wielding one-handed weapon and an empty other hand, attacking blah blah blah. No, we're shield dudes. Overrun. Can perform a one-handed sprinting power attack for 25% more damage. If this attack is a critical strike, it deals up to 50% more critical damage to the blah 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 blah. Okay, I love that one. That is equivalent to the vanilla, the vanilla charging power attack deal, and that's one that I always try to grab up as soon as I possibly can. Okay, and so we got the one. Okay, let's exit. I'm going to come back in. Now we get our bonus perk, and I'm going to spend it on this rallying standard. I can't help it. It's too cool not to do it. So this will be kind of an interesting one. Which banner do you want to use in your rallying standard? Well, it's going to have to be Stormcloaks, right? Now the trick will be, as we progress, it's possible, well, even very, very likely, I think, that we're not going to be wanting to use a Stormcloak standard after a while. So when that changes, we'll take a look at that. We'll see if we have the option of changing that perk. If not, we can use a console command to back the perk out and then select the perk again with a different option. So console command will get us out of that sticky spot if Anai Scion doesn't allow for that to change. So we can do that. Because if we're role-playing that we've got a conflict with the Stormcloak's ideology, then essentially that's a throwaway perk. We would never use it again. So it's definitely going to be most handy during these conflicts where we're going to have lots of, companions or soldiers fighting with us. But beyond that, I'm not sure, because Mortal Blade is technically kind of a solitary figure. All right. Next stop, Talos. And one of the characteristics about this particular character that is sort of funny is to all my other characters, every other character I play, this means stealth. But because Sagramor never goes into stealth, to me, this means respect. This means kneeling. So for this character, it's a sign of respect, right? Because we never use stealth. I think the only time that he would actually use stealth for stealth's sake is if he were hunting a deer or something like that, right? So that's what I'm thinking anyway. So I always just use it as a way for him to, you know, go down to a knee and show respect for someone or something. Reverence, I guess, that sort of thing. Okay, and we meet with Ulfric last. We're still encumbered, but that's probably because we've got, you know, a couple thousand ingots in our inventory. But I got a feeling some of those, anyway, will come in handy here fairly soon. Now, when meeting with Ulfric, there's going to be a title change. So, hey, you guys, there is no mod list for this.
I spent my life serving Talos.
So,
I don't plan to stop now, no matter what the Empire says.
good. Good for you. Mortal Blade does not have a published mod list at the moment, if that's what you're asking about. I'm using a crafting mod by Arthmore. I forget what it's called. Ars something. Can't remember. Skyrim SE. Just look for crafting stuff. Better yet, go find Arthmore. He's a pretty prolific modder. He's got a lot of stuff out there. Find him and then look at what he's got. That'll clue you in. He is always sleeping. Look at him. While he sleeps, we die and bleed.
Talos must be getting nervous. Taking Hell March, we're practically in his backyard now. As soon as we're able, we'll march on Solitude. You've become a true hero of Skyrim. I number you among my kin. You shall now be known as Stormblade. The love of the land and her people flows from your heart, even as death to her enemies flows from your hands. On behalf of the sons and daughters of Skyrim, on behalf of all that is righteous and true, take this token of our appreciation for your service.
God. What's next?
You've no time to glory in your accomplishments. We're gathering for our final assault on Solitude. I need you there. Report to our camp in Hoffinger.
Yeah. Heroic Stormcloak armor added. Huh. Alright. So a bunch of crap
Heard
was...
they're reforming.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Lady. Are you okay? Okay. Weird. Alright. We just got a whole bunch of stuff dumped into our inventory, so we gotta check this out. The Heroic Stormcloak armor is something that is added by Immersive Armors, and I think when they created that mod, the idea was that they weren't really satisfied with the gifts that we get from Ulfric Stormcloak at each stage in our career. Okay, so they added in this Heroic Stormcloak armor as kind of a replacement or as a better reward. This stuff. Okay. The problem with that is that makes us look exactly like Gulmar, which I can't stand. So what we've been doing as a replacement is we have been rewarding ourselves with Ursine armor. which is much more to my liking and looks a lot less barbaric and looks what I would consider to be a bit more along the lines of what a holy warrior type of person would wear, I guess. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. Now this stuff, I don't know, we can sell it off, we can do something with it, or we can, I don't know, I guess we could tuck it away somewhere. But I definitely understand why they did that, because what Ulfric actually gave us is completely useless and ridiculous. So he gave us this Redguard Knight light mail. I mean, when have we ever used light armor? Never. That's like he went to his closet and he dusted off some old piece of crap that he didn't want anymore and gave it to us, right? That makes no sense whatsoever. I very much appreciate what they did with this, but just aesthetically, I don't think it fits our character. So what we're going to do is we're going to get, I think, our last piece of Ursine armor. So let's do that. And then we'll figure out what to do with all that other stuff. Okay. All right. So we're going with the heavy. So far, we've gotten the heavy gloves and the heavy boots. Now we're going to do the cuirass, and then we'll pick the pauldrons. And we'll probably go with the large pauldrons because I think Sagramor is broad enough in the shoulder that he can make those look good. So we'll do that. Okay, that is going to be 57000D63 for the cuirass. One of those. Okay. And then, let's see. The large heavy pauldrons would be B9EC. Okay. So, let's take a look at the difference. Okay. To me, that's Sagramor right there. I like that for him, right? Now, this doesn't come with a helmet. We could add a helmet to it if provided we can find one that we think looks good, which we may do. But then there's also a perk that we can take that will allow us to get all of the benefits of heavy armor without having to wear a helmet, which I think is a little bit better for the image that we're going for. Okay, so now let us I'm just curious to see. Yeah, I'm kind of digging that. Now we still need to upgrade all of it, but eventually we'll get it all upgraded. I think the good news is that it uses steel ingots, which is great. That's really convenient. So the evolution of the character is happens gradually, right? So we kind of get our nearly complete look by level 15. So that's pretty good. Before it's all said and done, I'll probably do a custom texture. We'll keep the shield, but I'll do a custom texture for it of some kind. And then we're also trying to get our hands on the materials we need to do our first official sanctified blade. We know what blade we want to create. We just need the materials. And last I checked, we were short
Come on in.
one
We've
ebony
got warm
ingot.
Food,
So
warm drinks and warm beds.
bed,
Got some fresh baked bread and good cheese if you're after a bite to eat.
not bread, bed.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Just let her do her thing. It's It's been a while since I had to spend so much time in Windhelm. I've never been a big fan of Windhelm
Let me know
overall.
if there's anything else you need.
So, all right. Let's get a little bit of rest here and then get to work getting rid of some of this stuff so we can start on the next phase of our mission. Okay, I'm just curious how close we are to our next level. Okay, we're not quite halfway there yet. All right. Good to know where we're at.
Every night, I walk around the Grey Quarter and let them Greyskins know what I think of them.
I still can't
Is that
believe
what you do?
Isabella's gone.
We're laying over in Windhelm for a while.
God, I want to beat that guy. Maybe later. Hope everybody is doing well. It's good to see so many of you joining
May
in
the gods watch over your battles, friend.
the stream. I do appreciate it. It's very last minute. I don't announce these things, so I appreciate your being flexible and joining in. Very nice. Okay, so let's go see Naranya first. Usually she'll buy a lot of stuff that no one else
I lost
will.
my twin sister a while back.
So
I don't haggle. If you want to lower... Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
okay, so we've got some stuff. That's her stuff. Need my stuff. Okay. Get rid of that. What I want her to do is take the stuff that is probably most heavy first, I guess. Okay, we cleared that out pretty good. All right. Got some ironing. It's only 3. All right. Oh, yeah, we tapped her out. Okay. Well, let's look and see if she's got anything interesting. Not too much.
Thank you for your custom.
Okay.
Alfred told me you've been speaking to Ulfric about our situation. He
Jeez.
said you're going to help us.
Makes his shoulders
So
look
few
even
nobles
broader.
have ever offered to help us.
That's some pretty cool armor, though. I
Take a good look
gotta
around.
say, that's pretty
I'm
awesome
sure you'll
stuff.
find what you're looking for. If not, I'm so close. Ah, so you're an alchemist then?
Not remotely. Okay. Nothing to help a blacksmith, that's for sure. But we'll take some healing. Take a couple resist fire. That can't hurt. Okay. That's good
Hope
enough
to
for
see
now.
you
Hey,
again soon.
wait a second. While we're here, let's look and
Take a
see if he's
look.
got any recipes. Restore health. Well, we know how to do that already, but this recipe may be different than what we already know, so that might point us in some new directions. So we'll go ahead and take it.
Until next time.
Right. And let's see if we can upgrade this stuff.
Come and browse my
Well, look
fine
at, she's wearing basically an exact replica of the fancy armor that the fancy officer's Stormcloak armor. What is... That sort of cheapens the whole thing, doesn't it? Sure feels that way to me. Okay, so yeah, it's steel. Steel.
assorted fruits and vegetables, all delicious and affordable.
I do wish I had a potion right now. That would be so amazing, but I don't. But I do have some apparel that will help us out. Somewhere. Major smithing. Okay.
Everyone says you're
What do you
the
got?
finest weapons and armor.
Okay, let's see what he's got. Prosperity. Armor of peace. Shield of fissures. Oh, okay. We already have this enchantment, I think. I think we do. Maybe we don't. Can't remember. Right. So this is what we'll do. We're going to try and lighten our load a little bit.
Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
The rules with Sagramor regarding alchemy are that he will create potions, but he only creates potions that he has a recipe for. So he doesn't sample ingredients, he doesn't collect things. He will take a recipe and he'll refer to it and make it exactly like the recipe says with ingredients that he purchases. But he's not so big on going out and gathering stuff and doing typical alchemist kinds of things. So that is the play rule with regard to alchemy. We're going to sell some steel ingots. Okay.
Whether it's armor you need or a new blade, come see me.
All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is, before I commit to making any updates to the armor, I'm going to go and see Sadri first. Just in case he's got any gear or potions, or you never know. He might have something that would benefit us in this whole endeavor. And if he does, I want to make sure that we take advantage of that. So it's going to be slow crawl over there, but that's okay. I spend a lot of time walking anyway. So we're going to upgrade this. And then I think there are a couple other things that I think would be useful for Sagramor to do. Things that Sagramor would like to do before immediately launching into an attack on Solitude. I think we're going to take a moment.
Hi there.
Hello.
Need something?
I need flowers, please.
Not much, but I hope you like them.
Oh, yeah. I was looking for blue and purple mountain flowers. Oh, and red ones. I need these. Thank you.
Stop by again.
I surely will. Okay, so